As I've said previously, exploded views help us to see all the parts that are in an assembly and how they all go together. Exploded views are pretty straightforward in SOLIDWORKS. There's just one command and then we drag stuff out to make it look the way we want. So to get started, let's go up to the Assembly tab in the Command Manager. About 2/3 to the right, we'll click on the Exploded View command. And before we start exploding stuff, I want you to take notes of the particular things that are in the Explode command property manager. We can select the types of steps for our exploded steps, either linear or radial movement. We have a box that will show all of the steps in our exploded view. And then here are the selection options for each step, where we select the components we want to explode and then how far we want to move them out and at what angle. So let's start with doing the number 632 socket head cap screws at the top. To select all four, to move all four up above the gearbox, we left click on all four, and note that we don't have to hold down Control. Then once we have them selected, let's set up some options. In settings in the property manager, let's make our angle 1800. And let's check the radial box, rotate about each component origin. What this is going to do is it's going to simulate an actual screwing in of the socket head cap screws into the gearbox assembly. So they will rotate as if they're being screwed into the assembly, which is nice and fun. Now to move them out, we just grab the movement arrow that is going in the direction that we want to move them. So left click and drag upwards. I believe on the 2016 version of SOLIDWORKS, there is a little bit of a weirdness when it comes to moving components out with the rotate about each component origin checked. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to go down to these socket head cap screws here. Now the weird thing with 2016 is that when you have rotate about each component origin checked and you set up your angle, you're not going to grab the movement arrow that's going in the direction that you want to move it. You're going to go look down at your global coordinate system and see what axis is going in the direction that you want. In this case, for me, it's Z. And I know this is counterintuitive, but on the movement gizmo, you're going to grab that axis. So for me, it would be the Z axis. And I believe this is only with 2016 where there's that small glitch. So if you first attempt to bring this out and it doesn't work for you, try doing the movement axis that is being represented on your global coordinate system. But as far as right now, I'm not experiencing this problem with 2017. So to continue on, we're going to move our socket head cap screws out. And not only that, but we're going to move them radially out too. So to add a radial exploded step, we'll go to the property manager and click on radial step in the type area. Select your socket head cap screws, and I just did a left click drag window over them all, and then grab the arrow to move them out. So I've moved these 6 screws outwards in the Z-axis and then radially out from their center axis. So the rest is pretty straightforward. Everything else is a linear step except for the other side of our socket head cap screws, of course. But you just click on stuff and you pull it up. And they don't have to be exact measurements, but you can change them to exact measurements if you want. For example, I have this top cover that I just pulled up to roughly 5 inches. If I wanted to change that, I'd go to the property manager, and in exploded steps, I'd double click on the step where I had originally set the distance. For me, that's exploded step 4. And then I could change the distance here. So let's say I wanted to make it 1.5. Then I can press tab to see the result. When I'm done, I hit apply and done. And then I can move on to the next exploded step. So you're going to do something very similar for all of the other components. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. I wanted to click on the bushing here. So I'd bring this out. Bring this guy out. Whoops, and it looks like I need to go farther with the bushing, so I can double click on that step and bring it out more. There we go. And say apply and done. And then keep going from there. So I'm going to leave the rest to you. Complete this gearbox assembly exploded view, and then watch the next video to see how to add route lines, which are going to show how all of the parts are going to fit together.